Yung pagtutunguhan, pangat na inaasam, di mapipigil ni numan. Maaabot lahat ng iyong inaasam. Kasipagan ng sagot, salat ka man sa kayamanan. Buksan ng pahina ng mga aklat ng karunungan. Edukasyon ating kailangan, kamamangan ating iwanan. Peace!
Ating lilipalin, ang himbawawin,
ating tanawin,
bagong pag-asa ay muling tatanawin.
Kinabukasan pagbibayin, pilitin mong gawin.
Puspos ang pagsisika,
Pag-asa ay yakapin.
isang
Edukasyon ang kayamanan ng kahit di naman. Isang pangarap ang tutupad, pagsisikapan ng lahat.
puspos ang pagsisika.
Kaya mo yun, kaibigan. di mapipigil ni numan. Maaabot lahat ng iyong inaasam. Kasipagan ng sabot sa latkaman sa kayamanan. Buksan ang pahina ng mga aklat ng karunungan. Edukasyon ating kailangan, kamamangan ating iwanan. Peace!
Ating lilipanin ang himpapawid.
Ating tanawin
Bagong pag-asa ay muling tatanawin.
kinabukasan pag-ibagin. Pilitin mong gawin,
Puspos ang pagsisikap.
pag-asa ay yakapin.
Isang
Edukasyon ang kayamanan ng kahit ninuman. Isang pangarap matutupad, pagsisikapan ng lahat.
puspos ang pagsisikap.
Kaya mo yun, kaibigan.
Mabubuo isang
Okay, isang maganda at mapagpalang hapon po sa lahat. Please be settled because we are about to start our program. At this juncture, let us all pay tribute to our nation by singing a nationalistic song, and together we invoke the Almighty through a prayer.
Ako ay Pilipino, ang dugo'y maharlika. Likas sa aking puso at hikain kay kanda. Sa Pilipinas na aking bayan, lantay na perlas ng silanganan, wari na tipo ng kayamanan ng may kapal. Ika'y sa'king talino sa mabuti lang laan. Sa aki katutubo ang maging mapagmahal. Ako ay Pilipino. Ako ay Pilipino. Isang bansa, isang diwa ang minimithi ko. Sa bayan ko't bandila, laan buhay ko't diwa. Ako ay Pilipino, Pilipinong totoo. Ako ay Pilipino. Ako ay Pilipino. Taas noo kahit kanino. Ang Pilipino ay ako.
Sabay-sabay po nating damhin ang presensya ng ating Poong May Kapal sa ating pambungad na panalangin. Ama naming makapangyarihan, kami ay nagpupuri sa iyong dakilang pangalan. Sa pagsisimula ng araw na ito, basbasan mo po ang aming virtual meeting. Maraming salamat po sa iyong walang hanggang awa at pagkalingang patuloy mong ipinagkakaloob sa amin. Patnubayan mo po kami na maisagawa ang aming gawain nang walang anumang balakid. Tulungan mo po kami na mapaunlad pa ang aming kakayahan sa pagtuturo, lalo na ngayon na kami ay nasa makabagong normal na sistema ng edukasyon. Naway, gawin mong bukas at handa ang aming diwa at puso ang lahat ng pag-uusapan sa araw na ito. Patawarin niyo po ang lahat ng aming mga nagawang mga pagkakasala at pagkukulang. Pagalingin niyo po ang lahat ng may karamdaman at ilayo niyo po kami lagi sa lahat ng kapahamakan. Maraming salamat po sa iyong walang katumbas na pagmamahal. Sa iyo ang kapurihan at kabanalan sa ngalan ni Jesus. Amen.
Okay. If you happen to survive and I fail, tell our people that the women of the Philippines did their part also in making the ember spark of truth and liberty alive till the last moment. Quoting from her final letter before she was executed in 1945, remembering the heroism of the late Josefa Madamba Leanes Escoda. Muli isang maganda at mapagpalang hapon po, Team DepEd Manila or SDO Manila, lalong-lalo na po sa mga Juana ng makabagong panahon. And welcome to the Women's Month Symposium 2022 on reproductive health. I'm Karen Barana, your Youth Division Formation Coordinator, and I will be your host and moderator for today or this afternoon. Now, we all know that March is specially dedicated to all women, and some of us would probably still wondering, why do we have to celebrate the National Women's Month? You see, the celebration here in the Philippines has since served as a venue to highlight women's achievement and discuss continuing and emerging women's empowerment and gender equality issues and concerns, challenges and commitment. The celebration focuses on concrete activities that are aligned with national and international instruments and treaties. And as a part of this month's celebration for women, the Human Resource Development Unit, headed by our Senior Education Program Specialist and also our Division God Focal Person, Miss Mary Antoinette Tunyag, invited a very knowledgeable and indeed credible individual to discuss all about the reproductive health. Okay, so let's start the ball rolling to deliver her welcome remarks. She is an epitome of an empowered woman who empowers women. Mga wana ng SDO Manila, please welcome our Assistant Schools Division Superintendent, Dr. Cynthia L. Iles. Ma'am Cynthia, your screen.
Thank you so much, Ms. Karen, our facilitator for this afternoon event. Okay. Of course, to our top management servants headed by our Schools Division Superintendent, Dr. Maria Magdalena M. Lim, my co-ASDSS, the ASDS in charge of the SGOD, Dr. Melody Cruz, Attorney Antonio Kasangkapan, then Sir Pedro Araw, of course to our division chiefs, supervisors, school heads, na mga nanonood, our teachers, other viewers, to all beautiful women of SDO Manila. Ayan, the passionate and excellent one. Hindi lang sila magaganda, kung hindi mahuhusay pa at mapagmahal. Yan. Nararamdaman naman daw ang katotohanan ng sinasabi. The way you say it. And I mean it. So again, to all women of the SDO Manila and to other women who are listening here right now, Happy Women's Month. So sabi ko, ano ba ang gagawin ngayong hapon na ito? So thank you so much, of course, to the proponent, Ma'am Mary Ann, Antoinette T. Bunyag, and of course, the Chief of the SGOD, Sir Virgilio Santos. So thank you so much for making this activity somehow be worth celebrating for. Sabi ko nga dito sa aking simple notes, so normally kapag DepEd talagang mas marami ang mga babae, no? It is not because it doesn't mean that we overpower or we dominated the men, but because when we talk about teachers, normally mga babae sila, no? But it doesn't parang mean na mas ano tayo, mas karapat dapat sa posisyong ito. It's just that ang mga guro talaga ay mga babae. So yesterday I was at Aurora, Quezon, and I could still recall during the launching of the program of the MAPESPA, and I could still recall yung ating bayani na babae doon, kaya Aurora, Quezon. And sabi doon ay legacy of a woman of humanity. So sabi ko, bakit kaya, no? So when we talk about humanity, it's more of preservation of course, preservation of whatever culture that we have through the being example of the heroism that was shown during her time. So sabi ko, hindi siguro siya aksidente, but it is because we really recognize women at this moment. And I was looking at the program. So the program that we have for this afternoon is about Symposium and Reproductive Health. So we're extending our thanks to our speaker later on, si Dr. Prima Napalim. So from Dr. Josefa Bella Memorial Hospital. And I am extending our thanks. Of course, it's very important that we should take care of our health. And alam naman natin na isa ito sa mga major causes why women, kung bakit nagkakaroon ng mas marami pang sakit para sa mga kababaihan. And so we should be aware, prevention is always better than cure. And I am also reminded by parang an article, I could not recall when was that year, that I was trying to get to know how women really react to situations. Because sometimes even we know ourselves, sometimes we don't understand ourselves. So I tried to find out, bakit ba ang isang babae may mga age na siya ay masungit, may mga days na siya ay masungit. And then I found this parang information, sabi ko nasaan yun, and I tried to search sa internet at na-recall ko ito relative to reproductive health. So ang sabi nga nun, yung about menstrual cycle, how does it affect our face or our appearance? Buti na lang si Google search na ibigay niya ulit. So minsan kasi tayo mga babae, sabi ko nga, dali lang natin i-please. 'Di ba? Kapag sinabi lang na ang ganda mo, 'di ba? Ang ganda mo ngayon, bumabata ka, hindi ka tumatanda. Naniniwala pa rin ako na mas maraming totoo yung nagsasabi ng katotohanan about that, no? So we look really beautiful somehow, depende sa definition ng nagsasalita, no? Pero I have an information about this kasi relative to reproductive health. Ang sabi dito, sa menstrual cycle daw, 'di ba, meron siyang may proseso. So ano yung menstrual cycle? So una yung sinasabi nating menstrual phase, day 1 to 6. So para sa mga babae no. So alam ko, hindi ko alam kung nabasa niyo na ito, but I was able to say this when I was looking at somehow bakit minsan naiinis ako sa sarili ko. So I have to understand kasi ako mismo i-discover ko siya. Nasabi nga noon, dito sa menstrual cycle phase, nakakatuwa. Days 1 to 16, sabi dito, skin feel dry and look dull. So may mga araw na pititingis ka sa salamin, tapos titingnan mo, bakit kaya pangit ako ngayon? Di ba? Pag nakita mo hindi ka maganda, so parang yun, parang nagmumultiply na yun, yung emotion mo, yung thinking mo, parang hindi ka na confident, and that affects of course your work. And then sa follicular phase, that is 7th to 13th day, ang sabi doon, your skin looks fabulous during this time. Skin feels fresh, plump, and radiant. So meron ganon, di ba? Kahit wala ka namang makeup, walk up like this, natural beauty, parang ganda-ganda mo. Di ba? And if that is the mood, it sends also somehow some work. It gives you feeling of excitement. Diba? Tapos may magsasabi pa, ang ganda mo ngayon. So that's because of that phase. And then the next is the ovulation phase. That's day 14. Kaya lang bakit isang araw lang. So your skin is likely to look its best, clear and bright with a healthy glow. So pag tinignan pala natin yung mga mukha natin yan, parang ang ganda-ganda ko, di ba? Kahit hindi sabihin ng mga taong nakapaligid sa'yo na ang ganda-ganda mo, you still look beautiful because of that ovulation phase. Kaya lang yung tinatawag na last phase, that is day 15 to 28, medyo matagal. So you may have oily skin which can clog pores and cause breakouts. Ito na yung parang yung mukha natin nagkakaroon ng pimples, nagkakaroon ng, syempre ano siya, pag oily siya, mas maraming dirt na nakukuha. And so therefore, kapag nalaman natin na mayroong relationship pala ito, doon sa, it's not because you are in love, it has something to do with the cycle of a woman. Kaya sabi ko noon, nung nakita ko doon, somehow I understand na meron talagang mga times na we really look beautiful. It's because there is a relationship. What is happening inside? Kaya nga nung nakita ko reproductive, okay, review ko nga ito. So I know that we women, madali naman tayong pangitiin at madali rin tayong sabihin natin, i-satisfy. Actually, simple things na i-appreciate tayo, even positive words. We really appreciate people. I could still recall na meron akong isang nakitang teacher at sabi niya sa akin, alam mo ma'am, sabi niya, the first time you saw me, you told me that ang ganda netong teacher na to. The second time you saw me, and then you told me na kahit nakamas ako, maganda ako. Those were the times na dalawang beses ko siya nakita, pero yun yung naalala niya. Ang sabi niya raw, sabi niya, ang tindi naman na itong tao na to, paka-appreciative niya naman. So parang somehow, ganun kasi ako mag-appreciate sa tao. So talagang I really say what I could see. And somehow, di mo nararamdaman na nakaka-inspire ka ng tao kapag sinasabi mong gano'n. And of course, to everyone here, I know that you are listening here right now sa ating mga kababaihan. Di ba? Ang sarap ng pakiramdam kapag sa umaga pa lang nakita natin that, of course, we have beauty inside that radiates and that the people around us would also feel the same. Mas magandang ikalat ang virus ng pagiging inspired. Lagi kong binabanggit yan in any message that we have. So to everyone, to all women, sabi nga, perspective lang naman yung pagtanggap na tayo ay maganda. So minsan, kailangan yun ay maramdaman sa puso. And of course, hindi naman ako mawawalan ng Bible verse. Okay? So, of course, alam natin na sa Genesis, it is found in Genesis 2:8, 2:18 rather. Ang sabi doon, the Lord God said, it is not good for the man to be alone. I will make a helper suitable for him. So talagang ang women ay kinreate to be a suitable partner to men. So therefore, we always find the reason being a supporter to someone that was created before us. So the purpose why we are here is to really support whatever purpose that God has given to the men. So tanggapin na natin yun. It's not a matter of sino ang mas kailangang importante. It is a matter of accepting that that is how God created us. So to everyone, to all women, so tandaan natin that we are created to support and be a helper to our partner. Yung ibang mga walang partner, so I know that you have your own purpose at I know you are also supporting in other way yung mga kailangan gawin ng mga kalalakihan at hindi siya mag-e-end because wala kayong partner. No? So to everyone, again, happy Women's Month and let's always be grateful for we are women and we are called to do the purpose that God has given to us. So God bless everyone, keep safe, and again, Happy Women's Month celebration.
Okay, there you have it. Maraming salamat po, Dr. Ailes. Indeed, us women were created to serve whatever purpose that God has given us. Kasama na po doon ang ating pag-serve at pag-alalay sa mga kalalakihan. At tama nga po, nasasabi naman sa Bible na marapat nating tanggapin na ang puntong iyon. Okay, so tayo po ngayon ay tutuloy na sa meat ng ating programa. Now, it is my pleasure to introduce this afternoon's resource speaker. Okay, our speaker for this afternoon is a fellow and a diplomate of the Philippine Obstetrics and Gynecology Society, a member of the Philippine Medical Society Association and Manila Medical Society. She also volunteers at the Philippine Cancer Society, obtained her physician licensure in 2009, graduated in 2007 at Our Lady of Fatima University with a degree of Doctor of Medicine. Currently, she holds a medical specialist 3 position, member of the consultant staff of the Department of Obstetrics and Gynecology at Dr. Jose Fabella Memorial Hospital, chairman of Gender and Development Technical Working Group Committee, chairman of Hospital Therapeutic Committee, coordinator of School of Midwifery, Department of Obstetrics and Gynecology. Ladies and gentlemen, Team SGO Manila, wana ng makabagong panahon, please welcome on board Dr. Prima Donna Napa Lim. Dr. Lim?
Ay, magandang hapon po. Thank you, Ma'am Karen, for that very kind introduction. I hope you can hear me. Naririnig po ako.
Yes, ma'am, loud and clear.
Ay, magandang hapon po. Good afternoon. No? Today, I'll be talking about the workplace stress causing reproductive health concerns. No, I hope you will bear with me today for this few minutes of your time. Let me share my screen. So, I hope I can figure this out right away so we can save time. You can see my screen na, ma'am?
Yes po, ma'am.
Okay. Just a second. Again, good afternoon to all the listeners today, mga wana. I know this is our month, diba? A blessed 2022 to all, a blessed month, a blessed week, and a blessed day to everyone. Allow me to talk about some OB/GYN concerns relating to workplace stress, or we may call it also as job stress. Disclaimer for our talk today, I'm not promoting any candidates for the 2022 election. May I have this communication also with you in a Tagalog English, no? Ayan po. And our color is purple. Ayan po. And then, our objectives for today's talk would be the following. To define stress in its overview, definitely it's important to know what we are trying to talk about. In the next few slides, we will be talking about the meaning of stress to be discussed, and then to be able to understand at least the basic anatomy and function of the reproductive system. So let's go back to science. Another vital information that supplement today's discussion is also an overview at least of the human body, particularly the female sex, no? Going back to our title, reproductive health, no, meron ding male. But being an OB/GYN, of course, I will be focusing on the women reproductive organ, no? And also our month today. As we all know, sex is different from gender. Sex is acquired at birth. So talking about the anatomy. Then the third one is to now identify some common OB/GYN medical conditions that could relate to stress, particularly OB/GYN. There are so many concerns. There are too numerous to discuss, but let us focus on the most common and relevant. Categorically, we may divide this namely in obstetrics, of course, the pregnancy, gynecologic, the non-pregnant concerns, referring to oncology, o ito po yung mga may tungkol sa cancer, endocrinology, in relevance to the hormones na nare-release po ng babae sa kanyang reproductive system. And then the infectious diseases o mga na pwedeng infeksyon na ma-acquire ng isang babae. So defining stress. Stress is a feeling of overwhelm, unable to cope with mental or emotional pressure. Stress is our body's response to pressure. Many different situations, life events can cause stress. It is often triggered when we experience something new, unexpected, or threaten us, our sense of self when we have a little control over a situation. As stated, stress is a feeling. Kung sa Tagalog po, nararamdaman ng ating nasa puso at isip. Pero sa totoo lang, medically speaking, sa isip po ito. Dahil nagpapagana po sa lahat ng organ natin na yung brain o utak na siyang in control at nagpapatakbo ng human body. Agaran lamang po ang effect sa puso dahil sa puso, ang pinaka-active ay ang heart na continuously pumping dahil ito po ay patuloy na gumagalaw sa katawan 24/7. Kaya doon po yung initial reaction. Pero ang talaga pong in control ay ang utak. Then, kung maaalala ko po, yung definition, ay reaction nga, di ba, tulad po sa towards pressure na dumadating sa atin. Naalala ko po tuloy yung movie na recently na pinanood namin ng mga anak ko na Turning Red, na kung saan si Maymay ay nagiging big red panda when she is exposed to certain pressure or emotions. But eventually, in the story, she was able to control it. Dr. Serie, the previous, this slide was from the meaning that was recently defined. But actually, the stress was originally being defined in the 1920s. Here in the next slide, Dr. Serie was one of the whom first defined stress medically in the 1926 when he is a medical student and conducted many researches. He was able to define, after all his researches, that is stress is really a bad thing scientifically due to its effect. Stress in general term is a general term that he defined in which he was able to affect the homeostasis of the human body. It talks about the balance. But today's talk, we will be focusing primarily in the job stress. And this is Dr. Hans Hugo Bruno Serie. He was known as the father of stress. He's an Italian physician. And that is his photo. He doesn't look stressed, but he is known to be the father of stress because he was able to make many researches on defining stress. But like I said earlier po, na we will be focusing particularly in the job stress, specifically to work. Job stress can be defined as a harmful physical emotional response that occur requirements of the job does not match capabilities, resources, or needs of a worker. Job stress can lead to poor health or even injury. This is from the Center of Diseases and Control and Prevention in collaboration with the National Institute of Occupational Safety and Health, which is in Spain. Work-related stress also is a response of people when presented with work demands pressures that are matched to their knowledge and abilities with challenge and their ability to cope. Job stress may have these early signs and symptoms like headaches, sleep disturbances, difficulty of concentrating, short temper, upset stomach, low morale, job dissatisfaction. Although these are non-specific. Ano po ibig sabihin? Hindi po porke, ay may headache ako, naku, job stress ka na. You still have to rule out other illness or condition. Another clarification by the World Health Organization in which they said that work-related stress is a response of people that may have presented with work demands and pressures that are not matched to their knowledge and abilities with the challenge and their ability to cope. Studies also showed that job stress is directly proportional to oxidative stress. Remember this term that oxidative stress, this oxidative stress is imbalance between the oxidants and antioxidants, potentially leading to damage of cells. And this oxidative stress that we are referring to has relation to the medical conditions that we may be discussing earlier and on the next slides. Oxidative stress, again, causes damage to cells. And remember, cells are the building blocks of the tissue. And a group of tissue is an organ. Thus, a group of organ is a human system. If you remember biology po, no? Then, of course, human body is composed of brain, heart, kidneys, and reproductive system. Those are vital organs. And this damage can also cause a poor immune system. But today, we will be focusing on the reproductive health system of women. So let's have an overview po kung ano yung ang organ ng babae or ang female reproductive system. Particularly, ano po yung alam natin, ang matres at ang ovaryo. The female sex organs are the uterus, fallopian tubes, cervix, and ovaries. This is the uterus. I don't know if you can see my cursor, but I know you can see the label in my slides. The uterus at the middle of the diagrammatic organ of the female reproductive system, where the fetus is stored until viability, or ang tinatawag nating bahay bata o matres. Ito rin po ang pinanggagalingan ng dugo mula sa menstruation. Then the ovaries, the left and the right, na nagbibigay po ng hormones ng babae. Ang hormones na estrogen at progesterone. Importante rin po ito sa pagbubuntis mula conception up to delivery. At beneficial din po ang mga hormones na ito sa puso sa tamang balanse. Kasi kung masasabi po sa mga studies, ang mas inaatake po sa puso ay mga kalalakihan. Dahil may maganda pong benefit ang hormone ng babae, lalo na ang estrogen. Pero sa tamang balanse. No? Fallopian tubes, yan naman po ang daan mula ovaryo patungo matres. Then ang cervix po, yung gawing ibaba. Ito po yung kwelyo ng matres o bahaging exposed sa labas. Yan. Kung litratong ito ay ang picture ng cervix o ang kwelyo ng matres. Binanggit ko po kanina, ito po yung bahagi na exposed sa labas. Ganito po ang sinisilip naming mga OB-GYN kapag nagpapa-pap smear po sa kaming clinic. Ito po ang nakikita namin kapag nagpapa-pap smear. And this picture shows a normal-looking cervix. It should be pink, smooth. O yan. No erosions or wala pong discharge. Again, the major organs of the female reproductive system, the uterus, ovary, and the fallopian tubes. No? Knowing their functions, of course, the uterus o ang matres produce the offspring, provide the nutrients, and then the ovaries, the left and the right, they produce the sex hormones, the estrogen and progesterone, the fallopian tube, the passageway between the uterus and the ovary where the female eggs pass, and also this is the place of the fertilization where the sperm and egg meet. So we now go to the relevant common conditions that we could relate to stress, particularly job stress. When we talk about job stress, as mentioned earlier, it is more of a psychological effect to an individual. So first is in the pregnancy and lactation. In pregnancy, in most studies, it showed that the common that could be related to job stress would still be the hypertension, which is known in medical term as preeclampsia. This is answered a question of a working pregnant mom. What might happen to me if I develop job stress? This could be one. But also, it is important to take note that not only the stress can cause preeclampsia. The hypertension in pregnancy is still the most important factor are weight, age, and past medical history. Ano pong ibig sabihin nun? Ang nanay na buntis na may alam na po na bago pa magbuntis na may alta presyon at may maintenance, ay may maaring makadagdag po ito kung siya ay may job stress. Pero ang pangunahing reason po ng kanyang pagtaas ng BP ay ang dati niyang kondisyon. And then lactation or ang breastfeeding. The psychological effect is important in lactation. Why? Because mainly in the brain or in the pituitary gland is the milk production happens. But in milk production, it is also important to have a good maternal nutrition. Di ba nga po, sabi natin, sabaw, malunggay na gulay ang kailangan ng nanay na nagpapasuso. Ngunit, kailangan din po stress-free si mommy. They are equal important in terms of breastfeeding. Ngunit, magaling po ang Diyos, di ba? Minsan po, tingnan lang ang kanyang sanggol. It was already a bundle of joy. And it will give the stress. It will just push the stress away. And then we go know another branch of in reproductive health is the oncology dealing with the cancers. It was said that all gynecologic cancers have direct relationship with oxidative stress. And if you remember earlier, they are directly proportional. Kung mataas ang stress level mo sa job stress, tumataas din ang oxidative stress sa katawan mo. Pero with varying relationship. If we recall earlier, oxidative stress, di ba po, it could damage the cells, particularly yung genes po ng bawat cell na maaaring makadisrupt to brought a carcinogenic effect to certain cells. But it is only one of the factor. In each kind of cancer, there is more important or more common factor for each of one. Like, for example, in cervical cancer, still the most common and important factor is the HPV. Ano po iyon, no? Yung human papillovirus or yung tinatawag nating warts. Pero hindi po ito yung common warts, genital warts, yung sa ari po. Kadalasan accompanied with smoking, no? And then for endometrial cancer, the most common and important factor is still the unopposed estrogen, means estrogen that has not been interrupted. Dahil tuwing nabubuntis po, nagdo-dominate ang progesterone. Accompanied, of course, with family history. And then, Also, just important to mention, unopposed estrogen can also lead to myoma, but not more common to be related to job stress, but it is related, the myoma can be due to obesity, but sometimes we result to obesity because of stress. So, myoma might come along. Yun po. But not all myoma warrants immediate removal po, no? It depends on the situation and assessment. Okay, and then ovarian cancer. This is a traitor cancer. We don't like this because it usually diagnosed late. This is a cancer is also related to colon cancer and breast cancer, which is the important factor. The family history itself for ovarian CA. Okay. And now another branch in reproductive health that we may include is the endocrinology. No? Endocrinology deals with hormones produced by the female reproductive system, which is the ovaries we mentioned earlier. But many studies shows that the job stress affect reproductive endocrinology or the female hormones, and this would cause what? The hormonal imbalance. With hormonal imbalance problem, these two medical conditions may arise. These two, infertility and PCOS. Infertility is a failure to produce offspring. These two are related, the polycystic ovarian syndrome and infertility. Patient with polycystic ovarian syndrome may or may have infertility, because in infertility, it may also deal with other causes. In case you have a friend, wala akong mens PCOS kasi ako. Don't reply to them immediately. Ay, hindi ka magkakaanak. Do not jump onto conclusions, no? PCOS may or may not have infertility problems. So what is PCOS? PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome, is a metabolic disorder. There is a hyperstimulation of the follicular cells in the ovaries. So let's go back in our subject biology. Since it is an endocrinology, from the root word endocrine, the endocrine gland has a main monitor releasing hormones, which is located in the pituitary gland. It sends signal to the ovary. Kumbaga, ang boss ni ovary, yung paring brain, which is in particularly what part of the brain? The pituitary glands, who direct the ovary to release the hormone. And if there is a stress in the brain, which directly occur if you are emotionally or psychologically affected, it will affect, of course, the functioning of your pituitary gland, who releases the hormone. So this psychological breakthrough is a challenge to keep the brain function well. Then PCOS might happen, known to be, and this syndrome can happen due to a metabolic disorder. As the name implies, metabolism of the body is not in order, brought about a system failure in our body. In the latest researches, if you can see, insulin resistance is there, the word insulin resistance. Insulin resistance, which is the same mechanism that happened in a diabetes mellitus. Why this happen? Because of lifestyle factors. Ito na naman po, no? Nawawalan tayo ng control sa ating diet that could lead to obesity. Stress related to obesity, yes. Obesity is one of the lead cause of PCOS. But PCOS doesn't lead to obesity. It is not right to say, ay, mataba ako kasi PCOS ako eh. The obesity does not occur because of PCOS. The obesity that occur in the body cannot handle anymore the proper functioning, hence brought you metabolic disorder that would give you PCOS. That would give us PCOS. It is also important to note that there are cases of PCOS that are not fat. Hence, they have to deal with some hormone investigations. And then another branch that I would like to include is a relevant condition also is having infection in the vagina, no? So we call it vaginitis. This happens when there is imbalance between the natural flora and other bacteria. Going back to oxidative stress, no? The oxidative stress can brought about poor immune system, and this could lead to sickness such as this infection. Kumbaga, ang oxidative stress po, nawawala yung ating panlaban sa ating resistensya. And to inform din everybody, in our vaginal wall, sa ating pong vagina, meron po tayong natural flora. Ano po ba ang flora? Bacteria. Meron pong good and bad bacteria. If this become out of balance, the bad bacteria may be dominated, and this could cause infection. No? Nagsisimula po sa yung tulad po ng mga simptomas tulad ng pangangate, pagkakaroon ng discharge na may amoy kasi there are other discharge that could be normal. But don't worry, this is a non-STD condition. If it is related, of course, to the if we relate this to the imbalance of the natural flora, but it may have the same symptoms with other STD, depending, of course, of the history of patient that we encounter. And then, so what to do, Doc? Yan. Hindi kami nag-usap ni Dr. Iles or Ma'am Cynthia. Ito din na nalagay ko sa slide ko, no? Prevention. Of course, yung pa din po, prevention is better than cure. So since we are talking about the stress, and by the way, no, prevention have many level of preventions. So dun muna tayo sa level 1 or the primary, which entails about the role of us or each individual on taking care of ourselves, no, our own health care. Then, if it is already there, the problem is already there, we have already the medical condition, ano po gagawin natin? So let's identify it. Stress ba? Are we really in stress? We ourselves, we can identify it, but properly speaking, you, together with an expert, will identify it, like a psychologist or psychiatrist. Then, of course, accompanied with a physician with, if there's need of any medications, no? For example, in pregnancy, there's need of antihypertensive medication, and then for lactation, breast care management and supplement, for cancer, chemotherapy, and for PCOS, hormonal treatment, vaginitis, of course, antibiotics. But the most challenging management for the conditions is the lifestyle modification. But that is the most important and really a challenge really to all of us that could have any of those conditions. Step by step, this could be done. There are really experts on this task, on this lifestyle modification. Nowadays, I've been hearing about life coach and consultation with dietitian. Even online, they are really available, no? Especially in our era of pandemic. Although this will not work out without the cooperation of ourselves or each one of us if having those conditions, no? I think this next few slides are my last slides. Just a key takeaway for our talk. I think we should be a warrior, not a worrier, and live more, worry less, especially in the trying times that we had, no? This COVID pandemic, and now hoping for a better outlook this March 2022. Because that hopefully po, with God's grace and ano po, talagang bumababa na din nga po yung cases as you've been hearing. Hindi naman po madadaya ang ating census kasi magwawala po yung mga iba't ibang group of doctors kung talaga pong napupuno uli ang ospital. Tama. Then these are some words to remind ourselves to keep moving forward, live by the day, have a brave and positive outlook in life. Yeah. On this slide, let's just me read to you, no? Yeah. Another quotes that I got from internet, no? I'm not a psychologist, I'm not a BS psychology in my pre-med, BS biology po ako. But I really I like looking on different quotes that would brighten your day and release a good endorphins in your head. No? Worry like a rocking chair. It gives you something to do but never gets you anywhere. Stop focusing on how stressed you are and remember how blessed you are. Ito po another quick guide, no? For a happy life and a healthy life. Dance it out. Go for a walk, breathe, reminisce about the good times and positive outlook nga po. Smile. And 7 quick happiness tips. Don't listen to gossip, ignore whatever people say, design your own life, look for a good in every situation, develop an attitude of gratitude, laugh more. Once it's past, let it go. But not only a healthy mind is needed, but also a healthy body, no? Healthy living, eat better, exercise often, feel good again, and then positive outlook towards life. I think this is my last slide. These are my references. And then, yeah. Magandang hapon po sa lahat. I hope you keep safe and healthy and I hope may mga napulot po sila. Salamat po.
Okay, maraming salamat po, Doktora. Tunay ngang medyo masyadong marami. Siksik po ang inyo pong na-share sa amin today. And we thank you po for taking time to join us as we celebrate the National Women's Month. Ngayon po, before we let you go, Doc, meron lang po kaming at least 2 yatang tanong na na-PM sa akin. Sorry, ano ba yan gumalaw? Okay. If it's okay po, i-open natin ang ating question and answer portion of the program. Let me just share this screen. There you go. Okay, so the first question po. Doktora, how often should a female get a reproductive exam or consultation? So ito po siguro yung mga pap smear ano po and kung ano-ano pa po ba yung mga exam na dapat kunin and what age po appropriate? Okay.
Ma'am Karen, opo. Well, actually po, ang sagot lagi dyan ay depende. Yan po, no? Kasi po, marami pong iba't ibang klaseng sitwasyon. Pero kung ang ano lang po natin ay routine, o kumbaga routine check-up, ang advice for Filipino women for pap smear is still every year. Lalo na po kung meron na po experience, no? Pero ang edad na borderline po ang sinasuggest po ng aming society or ng POGS is 21 years old pataas. Pero syempre po hindi po ipipilit ang pagpapa-examine ng pap smear kung siya po ay wala pong karanasan.
Okay. So other than the pap smear po, dun sa walang karanasan pero nagkakaedad, what would be the type of exams needed for the reproductive health?
Meron ang examination pong yun pa rin po makita ng isang OB-GYN sa sa loob ng clinic, maaari po i-examine siya, pero po kung papayag po, no, ang ganun kahit naman po examinin po kasi ang ginagawa po namin kasi padaanin ng examination sa puwet. Yun po, no, rectal examination, no, na tinatawag. Pero sometimes po meron pa rin pong mga pasyente na we respect their opinion or your choice of not to be examined. Pelvic examination na lang po, no, sa loob ng clinic. Pero pagkatapos po noon, abdominal ultrasound, doon na po tayo sa diagnostic, no, abdominal ultrasound or the transrectal ultrasound. Kung papayag po, no? Kapag po ganun po yung sitwasyon. Pero sometimes po, pag talagang high risk or meron talagang nakapa sa clinic, we encourage na sana po mas ma-examine actually po, very advanced na ngayon ng technology. Siguro ng training ko, hindi pa naman ganun talaga advanced. Yung kasi left and right, konti lang po noon kasi yung mga availability ng CT scan, MRI, tsaka po mahal noon. Ngayon kasi sa dami ng nakaka-avail na healthcare facilities, meron na pong cost na kaya na ng pasyente. So kahit po yung advanced na imaging methods, pwede na din po nila. Pero talaga importante po, clinical examination at first. No?
Okay.
Pelvic examination if not amenable to have a pap smear or a rectal examination kung okay din po sa kanya. Talaga pong kung ano po yung mapag-usapan sa loob ng clinic.
Okay. So ito po, Doktor, siguro ito na po yung last natin. Ano po? Marami po kasi, lalo na sa aming opisina, ay nasa 40s na. Ngayon, safe pa po ba daw na magbuntis ang mga nasa 40s, lalo na't working ang babae? Hindi po ba high ang chances na magkaroon ng complications sa baby and sa mother? Ayun po.
Oh, yun po. Naku, ako rin naging active ako sa research. So, na-recall ko lang na parang laging sagot is depende. Totoo nga sila, sabi ng mga mentors ko sa research. Kaya dito po, ang sagot po natin, depende pa rin po, no? Kasi, kung hindi kasi matatapos sa edad, yes, the 40 years old is a high-risk age, but age is only one of the factor. What are others? Ano kaya yung BMI niya, yung body mass index, no? Ano kaya yung mga history pa niya? Yun. So kung tanging age lang ang ating pinag-uusapan, I think we could still go for it. Marami po kami naging pasyente na hindi naman po naging mapanganib, pero kailangan maging medyo mas strict kumpara to the younger age group of women who are getting pregnant. Pero alagaan po natin sana na wag magkaroon ng mga bisyo, pumangit ang ating system, no? Yung tamang healthy food, healthy yung ating weight as much as we can, no? Alam ko po, dami kasing daming tukso. Left and right, tumingin ka lang dyan sa kaliwa mo, Jollibee, McDo, junk foods po yun tama po ba, di ba? Ang hirap talaga. Ako rin, no, chubby.
Actually, it all boils down po talaga, no, Doc, on whatever it is that we put inside our body. Ano po. Okay. With that, Doc, sa mga nanonood po through our YouTube channel, saan po ba namin kayo, kung meron pong gustong kumonsulta sa inyo, other than sa Fabella, saan po ba, meron po ba kayong clinic, or is there any like contact numbers where some of us, kung meron interesado po to have a consultation with you?
Yes, ma'am. Kaya lang, dahil sa pandemic medyo
Okay.
I'm also a mom of two. Tumigil ako ng konti when year 2020 came. Kaya po nawalan ako ng isang clinic, I closed the other clinic, but meron po kami kasi po pay consultation sa Pabella Hospital.
Okay.
Kaya yun po yung na-retain ko dahil po I'm an active consultant and doing some admin concerns in the Pabella Hospital.
Okay.
We have pay consultation at Pabella Hospital. I could message, Ma'am. Ay,
Miss
I could
Anne.
put in the chat or
Okay po.
it's with Ma'am Anne, my contact details for...
Okay po. Siguro po we'll have to ask Miss Anne about it na lang po ano, and then I will
Opo.
give it to those person who are actually interested in getting in touch with you in the future or whenever it may be. Okay po, Doc. Maraming salamat po. Isa na lang po. Let me just do the online awarding of our certificate. If I may read the citation. Department of Education, National Capital Region, Schools Division Office of Manila presents the Certificate of Appreciation to Prima Donna Napalim, MD, FOGS.
Yes.
Sandali lang po, ma'am, ha? Okay, yan, nawala ako. Okay, let's see. Medical Specialist 3, sorry about that, Dr. Josefa Bella Memorial Hospital for her valuable contribution as resource speaker, imparting her invaluable knowledge and insights that contribute to the success of the Women's Month Symposium 22 on Reproductive Health, held on March 22, 2022 via Zoom platform, given this 22nd day of March 2022, signed by our Schools Division Superintendent Maria Magdalena M. Lim, CESO 5. Okay, again, maraming salamat po, Dr. Prima. Can I call you Dr. Prima or Dr. Lim?
Prima is fine naman po.
Okay. Okay. And salamat po ulit at sana po ay maimbitahan namin kayong muli sa mga susunod pa na related issues and concerns or programs ng aming division. Now at this juncture, as we officially close our program, please welcome to deliver her closing remarks or closing message. Please welcome the Senior Education Program Specialist of the School Governance and Operations Division for HRD, Miss Mary Antoinette Punya. Miss Anne?
Yes, Karen, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Oo, hindi naman po naririnig na mas malakas ng kabilang background, ano? So, muli, good afternoon to everyone, and thank you for all those who joined our symposium for this Women's Month 2022 on reproductive health by Dr. Prima Lim. And I know health is important, especially for us women, our reproductive health. So feel free po, no? Parang narinig ko rin kanina, no, the schedule and of our consultant for if there are some issues and concerns na gusto nilang patignan, they can visit the clinic, okay, of Dr. Linden. And again, pangalagaan po natin ang ating mga sarili. Lagi natin pangalagaan ang ating kalusugan dahil tayong mga kababaihan ay kailangan laging malakas para sa ating pamilya, sa mga anak, at sa ating mga sarili. Ayan. Maraming salamat po muli. Again, good afternoon. Back to you, Karen.
Okay, thank you very much, Miss Mary Antoinette Bunyag. Nakasalukuyan pong nag-host sa first Manila Women's Summit. We do. Okay, maraming salamat, Miss Anne. And there you have it, Team SDO Manila, mga wana ng makabagong panahon. Diyan po nagtatapos ang ating programa on the Women's Month Symposium 2022 on Reproductive Health. Muli, maraming salamat po. This is Karen, your Youth Formation Coordinator, and we're also from the SGOD division. Maraming salamat po. Mabuhay po kayo at ingat po sa pag-uwi.
Thank you po.
Salamat po ulit.